Awesome. Welcome to the Golf Smarter podcast, Cheryl. It's great to have you back.
It's great to be back.
You have had well, last week was a tough week for everybody involved in the golf industry because the PGA merchandise show happened as it does every year in Orlando, and there's probably a lot of shoes that needed to be changed multiple times a day.
Well, and I can tell you, just getting there was a task for some people, well, especially the Northeast because of all the snow.
Oh, right.
So I was fortunate to have not a problem with getting down there from Louisville.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right. The weather was awful that week. That was terrible. Let's see.
It was.
We're gonna keep trying this. You have a little bit of a weird signal coming across here, so I'm hoping that we can get past that. I think it's a Wi-Fi thing. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Anyway, so
there's a little bit of a delay.
Say that again. See?
There was a little bit of a delay.
That time I heard you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, the PGA Merchandise Show goes on every year. How many years have you been going to this?
Oh gosh, you're going to age me. Over 15. How about that?
So you've seen a lot of changes in that show as far as what's available.
I have.
Yeah.
And it's gone from a huge show where you've got vendors that are spilling out into the concourse hallways like they couldn't get on the show floor because there was no room. So they were all, in the hallways and anywhere they could find a nook and cranny.
Yeah.
And then it was scaled back a couple of years ago where you had big blank spaces on the floor that they didn't really know what to do with, that they made little, conference centers and that kind of thing. So it's been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think this year there was a lot of very positive, upbeat attitudes, and I was happy to see that.
That's great. So when you say upbeat attitudes, people more excited about the state of and future of the industry itself, or just because they were in warm weather?
I think because it's, we saw kind of a flat to declining market for golf, and I think that has stabilized. And from some of the industry information that I got at the show, it was very positive in the regards that more golfers are saying that they're going to play more and that they're going to continue to buy new equipment. So I think, that's all good for golf.
Sure, it's great for golf. What is your day like? How many days are you at the show?
Well, we didn't have a booth this year, but when we have a booth, it's crazy because you set up at, demo day, first of all, which is at Orange County National, and it's in the round. I don't know if you've ever been there,
no.
But you hit balls to the middle, and all of the brands are around that circumference. And it takes people to, get set up out there, get all your equipment ready to go, and you're there all day long till 6 o'clock. Then you got to go back to the exhibit hall and make sure all of your merchandising for your booth is done so that you're ready to go at 8 in the morning. And so it's really pretty grueling when you have to work it because you have meeting after meeting, and there's people that walk in and want to know stuff. And I mean, it's been fun. We've had a great time every time we've been to the show. We've had the world's fastest golfer do some stuff within our booth, hitting 100 balls in a minute. We've had everybody from Dominic Hasek, who's was a hockey player, come in. We've had a long drive guy, Mike Dobbin, who has huge guns. This guy is big. He's got a 7.5-foot wide wingspan. And we've had a lot of fun over the years.
Hey, let's.
But this year,
I'm gonna ask you to try to re-sign in here because the signal is breaking up pretty badly, and we're not getting all of what you're saying. It's kind of Cylon type of weirdness. So why don't you? We'll entertain the people that are here for the moment. So why don't you sign off, refresh, and sign back in real quickly? Is that okay? Thanks. And I apologize to anybody who's watching right now. We're going to get Cheryl right back, and get her on because I just didn't think that was acceptable for any of us to listen to. So I'm hoping we'll have a stronger Wi-Fi signal for her right now. And I'm guessing that's a Wi-Fi issue when it does that. But let's see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, much better. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm curious. What does that mean, the world's fastest golfer? Because there's speed golf. I know that, because I've had the guy on the show where he played 18 holes in 67 minutes and shot a 68 or something crazy like that. But
okay, well, this guy, his name is David Ogren, and he's from California. And he's been on the Letterman show. He was on Good Morning America and all these different shows. And he's got a guy that sets the balls down, and he hits them as fast as the setter sets them.
Oh, okay.
So he was going for the Guinness Book of World's Record of how many to hit in 1 minute. He did it in 30 seconds. He did it in an hour. I mean, he had different time slots that he was trying to accomplish.
Do you remember how many balls he hit in a minute?
I want to say it was a ridiculous amount. It was like 100. It was over 100.
In 60 seconds.
In 60 seconds.
That's remarkable.
And the guy was just like a machine.
Yeah, clearly. Boom, boom, boom.
I'd hate to see his arms now. I haven't talked to him in a while, so.
It's very funny. That's very funny. So why did you guys not have an exhibit this year? Why did you not set up?
It all stems from the way the show has changed. Before, it used to be a platform where you do new product introductions, and everybody would have to wait to the show in order for that to happen. Well, now we introduce products anytime we want. We have a way to do that. So it's become less and less about that. And I think just more about, seeing your customers, the PGA pros, and just being connected to the industry.
I see.
Yeah, we had our sales meeting on Monday, and then I had the chance to do demo day and the show without having to be tethered to a booth the entire time. So it was really nice.
Oh, good. So then you can give us an overview of the show when I start picking on that.
I can.
Awesome.
As I was saying, the demo day, which I think was one of the best things that they added on to the show, is a great way to see ball in flight. And of course, all the biggies were there. And I think, what impressed me the most, just kind of picking, in my opinion, the new Ping G driver, I thought was really something that people need to see and experience and hit. I think the new King Cobra Greg Norman was there in person, and I was probably 10 feet from him.
Cool.
He gave a really nice, just let people ask him questions and that kind of thing. Bubba Watson was there early. I didn't get to see him, but I know he was there.
What does it cost a company to bring someone who's currently an elite player on the tour? I can't imagine what it costs.
Appearance fees can vary, so a lot of times they build that into the contract. So
that you have to make a couple appearances a year?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. But that contract is exorbitant.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to think. Super Stroke, I was talking to you about that earlier when we were just getting started. How impressed I was with the whole activity that was around them for demo day. So I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, the free beer was great.
All right, now you're giving me a complete overview, but I want to pick on specific things, so we'll get to those. I'm already, what do you mean about the Pink River? Because there's so many different product lines that I want to get your impressions of from what you saw, because we didn't get to go, and I'm really curious.
I know, and I hope I could do it justice, because there's so much to see and do that you can't really go deep.
Yeah.
I
give you the assignment of what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, you should have given me your list, and I could have checked them off. Okay. But Yonex was out with some new clubs, and I thought those were really interesting and should be checked out.
Okay.
Because everybody hits balls differently, and
sure.
and likes things to their own preference.
Yeah. But you have sales. So what? How many people that represent or work for Bionic Gloves comes to Orlando from all over the globe, or from the United States?
Well, from the globe, because what you have is, we have a lot of international distributors, and the show is a logical place for them to come. So we meet with them. And we also have a group of about 40 independent sales reps for the U.S. And so since we had the sales meeting, they all came there. And then from corporate, you've got, 5 or 6 people that made the trip to do some presentations, including Dr. Jim at the sales meeting.
Great. And are these meetings pep talks or updates of what's about to happen, what they can expect to start? Because you want these guys to hit the road and go to retailers and clubhouses and pro shops and pumping the product, right?
Yeah, we want to give them as much information and any kind of tools to help them build their business. Because as an independent rep, you're only as good as what you sell.
Right.
So Dr. Jim did a nice overview of bionic technology, kind of the lesson that I gave you in my first podcast with you about, filling in the valleys in between the joints for a grip that is complete surface contact. There were, I of course presented on, things that we're going to do in the marketing world for this year. There were, your normal, here's what, the order forms and all that kind of stuff has to be taken into consideration. And then, we have our CFO, COO got up and did a little spiel about, the status of the company and how, we're solvent because, we've got all this cash now that, Slugger was sold to Wilson. So that puts us in a good spot.
Sure.
So, it's a combination of everything, and they get to ask questions and engage with each other, which I think is really important, because what works in one territory might work in another territory, and it's always good to share.
And the key word for any business right now, online or not, brick and mortar, retail, whatever, it's engagement.
It definitely is.
Yeah, that is the buzzword. So I think that anybody watching right now or listening, anytime we say engagement, just take a quick shot and We'll all be happy here. To anybody who's online with us right now, we're live on Blab. If you'd like to submit any question, we'll go ahead and put an instruction on how to submit a question. You want to just go ahead and do /Q and then write your question. Let's see, did I do that right? I did not do that right. Oh well, doesn't work anymore. But yeah, /Q, write your question, and then in a little bit we'll see if anybody wants to join us on the phone call on this Blabcast and ask you questions specifically. And for the podcast listeners, I do need to make a quick apology to the podcast listeners. We've had a lot of rain here in Northern California lately, so I haven't played much golf. But we've had a lot of rain, and we're all very grateful for that. But for some reason, a frog has got caught in my doorway right over here, and not on the outside of the room, not on the inside of the room, but in the wall there. So if you hear these strange little noises coming out of me, it's not me, okay? I promise it's not me.
Have you named him yet?
Yeah, but I can't repeat it. Yeah, I can't repeat what his name is. Okay, well, I went to a PGA merchandise show in Vegas a number of years ago, and what blew me away about what I saw, and that may be what was in the past with the PGA show, and not so much anymore, are these people who are banking their life. They're insurance salesmen. They're banking their life on this new tee that they created, right?
I know.
Or a new ball washer, or a new goofy thing to hang off your bag, something. Is there still a lot of that going on?
There is some, yes. Yes.
Was there anything interesting? There's anything that went, okay, that one will work, and the rest of you go back to your insurance shop? And nothing against people who sell insurance. I love you.
I don't know that gadgets per se, any of them really thrilled me. But there were some newer companies that I think are really going to be ones to watch. I don't know if you've ever heard of Cure putters, C-U-R-E. They're C-U-R-E, Cure putters.
Cure putters, okay, I have not.
They have the weight in the heel and the toe of a putter, and you can adjust it to what your preference is. And I thought, and I did swing a putter and play with it for a little bit, and I really, really liked it. And I think that one is a keeper.
I'll look into that. Maybe we'll get them on the show.
There's a new shoe company called Bion. B-I-I-O-N, and it's not because the name is similar to Bionic, but they're, you know how Crocs were so big?
Yeah.
Well,
plastic shoes.
Yeah, but these are like cool plastic shoes that are really colorful and have a lot of different patterns for both men and women. And they're golf shoes that you just slip on. You don't have to tie them. They're really cool.
That sounds interesting. I'm someone who needs a lot of support in my shoes. I need to be, have them snug. I need to be able to put an insert in them. And I've had shoes in the past that were these plastic ones that are great to travel with because they compress really easy.
Yeah,
but they didn't. My back was starting to hurt after a couple.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't.
And I walk a lot.
These, for a long time, but they take you at 18 for sure.
Okay, shoes. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
cool. I'll look into that too.
Volvic balls.
Volvic. Oh well, we've talked about Volvic. Well, we haven't had them, but we had a distributor on of Volvic balls. This is the one the women are using on the tour, correct?
Yes. Well, they introduced a new, it's like a matte finish to their color balls, and it really is nice. And I think they patented that extremely well, and I think they're the only ones that are able to do that. So, yeah. So Volvic balls.
Interesting. But they're not going on. They're not going on a performance thing. They're going on, these look great. You could, that's why it's and are they really targeting women specifically for that?
They are. They definitely are. You know, anytime you see a lot of color balls in a martini glass, I think it's definitely aimed at women.
Yeah, I can see your point. It's very funny. And are you a kind of tech geek at all, like I am? I mean, do you look at the electronics and what's coming on with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and these products?
You know, kind of. I have to admit, I did buy 2 of these Unimed massagers because my shoulders were killing me, and I before my next meeting, I saw this booth. They said, sit down here. They put these electrodes on my shoulders, gave me the remote, and I could adjust the you know, how the thing was vibrating, and I loved them. So I bought one for me and for my husband.
Wow.
So that's what he's getting for Valentine's Day.
Oh, well, he knows it now.
Oh, he's not watching. I assure you, he's
That's
not.
okay. My wife's not watching either. That's the one thing I could assure every listener of. My wife doesn't listen to this. She hears me talk enough. She doesn't want to hear me talking to somebody else. Okay, a massager, good. But, you know, and there's so many products that are coming out now that you can have an app on your phone, and it tells you your swing speed, and it tells you how far you are, and the GPS and the accelerometers, and there's so many things that are coming up. Anything that you noticed there?
Well, I can tell you, Zep Labs, ZEP.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They weren't at the show this year, but they were last year, and I just think they have a terrific product.
Yeah.
It clips right onto, you know, your glove. Mm-hmm. And we had them here for the PGA Championship at Valhalla a couple of years ago, where we set up this big inflatable net in front of our building where the big bat is. And we had, you know, all these riders come through that were going to attend the PGA Championship, and basically did an open house. So they got to, you know, get their swing speed measured and all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool. They loved it. Yeah. So Zep Labs, I really like.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Game Golf, and they have similar products. Game Golf came out a little bit earlier than Zep Labs. Honestly, I've tried to get them on the show and have not had much response, so it's been difficult to get them on because I'd really like to learn more about their product. Okay, so let's go to clothes. I'm sure there's a lot of clothing distributors and manufacturers at this show.
It's amazing. Really? You know, if you look at the hall, the exhibit hall, more than half is clothing and accessory. I mean, it's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. And, you know, ones that, you know, I kind of tried to scope out were Chase 54. I mean, there's so many, but it's like they close off their booth, so you can't really do kind of a walkthrough. You have to go inside, and then you got, you know, somebody going, hey, can I help you? You know, and you just want to look. And, you know, but there's a lot of clothing brands out there that you know, they're great, but when it comes down to it, it's like styling more than anything, because they're either like a polyester cotton blend or they're a polyester. You know what I'm saying? It's like I haven't seen much in materials as much as I have in styling.
Interesting. And is that the show floor so filled with clothing manufacturers because all the club manufacturers are outdoors?
No.
Oh, really?
It's because it's so much. Become a place for a lot of the clothing brands to come. Under Armour was huge there.
Oh, sure. This has been it was a big year for them with Jordan Spieth, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So they had, you know, a big booth. Travis Matthews had, you walked into their booth and they had pulled in these big semi-trailer tractor trucks, and they had skee ball and a pool table, and it was like a man cave kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was, it was good. I like when they do that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure. And what Jordan is doing for Under Armour is what Tiger did for Nike, right? I mean, or Michael Jordan did for Nike. It's really solidifying that brand and getting more and more people to want to wear it. As what Ricky Fowler does with, why am I blanking on the product? The Puma.
Yeah, the shoes.
Sure, and the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What about golf balls? Any new technology, or is it just?
I'm a big Bridgestone fan,
okay.
I like Bridgestone. But I was intrigued by the Volvic.
Yep.
Just because. Other than that, I really didn't see anything that was that new in golf balls.
Well, we've had and featured on the podcast Dixon Golf, because they make eco-friendly golf balls, which is a long explanation. Yeah. And I'm a big fan because we lose so many golf balls all the time. Why do we have to, lose balls that are going to do any damage to plants or animals? So these are great for that. They don't disintegrate, but they have no harsh metals in them. But what about sustainability, which is another key buzzword these days in business? The products like golf balls and other things out there that are people saying, oh yeah, this is made out of recycled material, or this is recyclable. Did you see any notice of that? Is that one of the buzzwords?
I didn't really see a whole lot of that. I think there's a role for some companies to be out there that promote that, and that's a nice niche to have. But I didn't really see anything this year like that. I mean, okay. I really wasn't looking for it, put it that way.
Sure. Again, I didn't give you an assignment.
Yeah, next time to give me an assignment.
Exactly. And so then golf clubs, one of the companies that we like is the new Ben Hogan Golf Company, Terry Kaler, and he's got wedges, and now he's come out with irons, and this year I think they were announcing hybrids, and we'll get Terry on the show to talk about it, because we've already had people on Twitter and Facebook saying, when can we hear about the new clubs from Ben Hogan Golf? What was it about you were talking about the new Ping driver. Why did you like their driver? What was it about?
Well, I happened to go by just as they were taping or filming one of the product R&D guys talking about it, and how it was more aerodynamic and all these different things about it. So that's kind of what sucked me in.
Yeah. I think it's got to be the hardest thing in the world for the club manufacturers, because the restrictions on what they can and cannot do to clubs really prevents them from coming up with new products, because they want to take it to the limit, every time. And yet now we can't make many changes. So like when TaylorMade made the white-headed club, it's like, and telling you it's going to go 10 yards farther. Really? Because it's white? They can't come out with a lot of new technology all the time.
Right. Oh, I know. Well, and this is why, if you're fit and you're stronger, you can hit the ball farther.
Absolutely.
It's all about, keeping your arm strength and your core, in good shape. And you will hit it farther. Absolutely.
What did you see in the way of fitness at the show?
Not very much, which made me think that was something that is needed, because, you've got all these golfers that, go to their club and they're like, I can only hit it so far. My swing speed is just and they can take a lesson, but they need to be doing something about their bodies.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, where my head's at in that. And I just think Bionic has, kind of a one-up on other companies that are out there in regards to gloves that can help them do things that will get them stronger, whether it's, with bands or with weights. But I really do believe that fitness is the way to go.
I played last week and with my bionic glove on again, and I really noticed how it's designed and how it was helping me with, gripping the club and the less fatigue. I'm really intrigued because based on the last conversation that we had on the podcast, I'm really intrigued about the wearing two gloves and creating less fatigue in my right hand as well as my left. Mm-hmm. So what did you see? I'm sure that you look closely at gloves that are there.
I did. I saw all the usual suspects there, and then Johnny Miller I think he's bought into zero friction, which is like the one size fits all. Well, Dr. Jim would say, no, that doesn't. One size does not fit all. But it's interesting. There was a guy from Phoenix who sat down next to me in one of the PGA conference centers, and we got to talking, and he said, I have a radio and TV show in Phoenix that I've been doing, and I have been looking for a special glove. And he goes, I haven't found one here. And I said, well, you're sitting next to somebody that could tell you about one. And so I started telling him about Bionic, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
Would you be on my show? And I want to know more. I've not heard about it. So hopefully we can get that going, and we can get some education on Bionic on his show.
What does that mean? One size fits? I mean, literally one size fits all on a glove, or one size of technology fits everybody?
One size fits all. It's like some kind of spandex thing that you just fit over. I know. I mean, I don't know how that works.
Well, especially because, it's obviously going to be very snug, the glove. Yes. But for someone like myself, and I've seen a lot of people do this, who wear a glove when you're hitting the ball at a distance, but like for putting or even chipping around the green stuff, I take my glove off. I would think in a humid environment or any hot place, a glove that you would take on and off and on and off, that's some sort of form-fitting material would deteriorate in a round. Yeah,
I haven't played with one, so I really can't give you an honest opinion, but I just don't see how it would work that well for you over time.
Well, this is so interesting.
I like playing with Bionic.
I love getting your perspective on what was at the show and what works, what doesn't. So, Madam Director, can you please give us a state of the industry from your perspective from what you saw this year at PGA Merchandise Show?
I happen to also have the pleasure of being invited to every year Sports Illustrated and Golf Magazine. They're owned by the same company. Mm-hmm. They do a State of the Union, and their research shows that people are very positive going into 2016 about wanting to play more golf and wanting to buy new equipment. And here's something that is very interesting. Looking at what people are really paying attention to, mm-hmm. videos, any kind of videos on tips on, how to get out of sand or how to drive the ball farther or whatever, on equipment, you name it. It's all about, people are watching more videos. I think we watched 52 billion videos last year.
Oh, there's multiple millions viewed a minute and uploaded a day. Yeah, YouTube has exploded. And mobile video is everywhere. And that's why, I love doing this on Blab, but I still am a firm believer in podcasting because I think that not everybody can multitask that way, and they still want content. They're content hungry, especially golf fans and golfers. So they're looking for information, that they can listen to while they're doing other things. Video is a lean in, right? You gotta put all your attention, where audio, you can rewind it. You can do with everything on-demand content, but audio is still big. So I try to do both now, and definitely getting play on both of them.
But I think, getting back to the state of the industry.
Yes, please.
I think it's healthy. Mm-hmm. I really think that, we've kind of come out of the dip and we're starting to trend back up. You'll see a lot more programs for juniors and doing family time, on the golf course. Mm-hmm. That was big. But almost every booth that I went to and talked to the people, they were like, things are going pretty good, or we're sold out of this, or, there's big demand for that. So I really think we're going to have a great year. Of course, the weather is always something that, depends on how much we're going to get to play.
Right.
And I understand that. And I did get to sneak in 18 at Shingle Creek. I don't know if anybody's ever played Shingle Creek, but it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So you get to play golf when you're down there too. That's great.
Yeah. But it was cold. I mean, it was, 40 degrees. And I'm usually a fair weather golfer, but I was down there and I'm like,
You're in Florida.
I know. And it did warm up to 55, I think, was the high. So, it was a little chilly. Yeah.
Well, so it sounds like that the golf industry really reflects what's going on with the economy. There's disposable income these days. People are doing well; they're spending more money, and that's reflected in golf. And I think that's happened. When everything fell apart at the end of 2008 and 2009, that's when the golf industry was really struggling to get people out to play. Yeah.
And I think the fact that we've got some new role models, Jordan Spieth and, Jason Day.
These 20-somethings, yeah.
I know. And I tell you, Justin Thomas and his dad, Mike, were on the Golf Channel down at the PGA show. They did a lot of different interviews. And I know Mike because he's the pro at Harmony Landing here in Louisville. And I got to tell you, Justin is going to be impressive this year. I think he's already had one win. And I think he's going to want to contend for a major this year. So he and Jordan are pretty close. I believe they went to the same school, and they're friends. So it'll be interesting to see. I think in one of the articles I read, he really likes Augusta, and this will be the first year that he'll be in the Masters. So I'd say watch for Justin Thomas to do really well this year.
All right, keep your eye on Justin Thomas. And when we get closer to our first major, when we come up to Augusta, we'll get our resident gambling gurus back on the show and see how they feel about it too. And see where their money's going on the first major of the year. Hopefully they'll be able to come back and join us again this year. It's okay. So the state of the industry, everybody's excited about moving forward, it sounds like.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
We love hearing that. That's great. Well, again, Cheryl Fink, Director of Marketing at Bionic Gloves, a great product and a great time to talk to you. Thanks so much for your input and for sharing with us what you saw at the PGA Merchandise Show in 2016.
Well, thanks for having me. And again, my opinion only goes so far, but at least, I was there in person and just kind of told you from my perspective.
That's all we were asking for.
Great.
Thanks again, and it's great to talk to you, Cheryl. Be well, and good luck this year.
Okay, thanks.
And that's our recording time. Thank you very much for joining us.